Here we'll be talking about ordering integers. So integers meaning positive or negative whole numbers, and they want to know less than, greater than, equal. Which number is bigger? The only issue I notice sometimes is because this seems so easy, it's easy to question or forget or maybe go too fast on what direction your sign should go in. Now the reason that this is the less than symbol and this one is the greater than is because we read from left to right. So if I put a number here, this says something is less than something else. But what's helpful is to be able to look at these in both directions. So which number's bigger? This might seem a little silly and maybe you've seen it before, but I think it really helps in reading these. Is think of the alligator mouth. It opens towards the bigger number. That way you don't have to kind of memorize which one's less than, which one's greater than. It's which one is the bigger number, and it should open towards that because the alligator wants to eat the bigger number. So if you've seen that before, it's kind of silly, but it's actually really helpful when it comes to these. They're not hard. They're just so easy that they're easy to mess up. Okay, so the positive numbers we probably don't think very much about. What's bigger, 8 or 3? 8's the bigger number, so we need it to open towards the 8. Thinking of the alligator mouth. Sometimes for negative numbers when we get confused because our gut instinct is we want to put the bigger digit, 6 if we're thinking about positive numbers. But when they ask which number is larger, we want to think on a number line which number is further to the right. So if 3 was here, maybe 8 was over here, 8 was further to the right, made it the bigger number. So this ends up a little bit backwards. Not to scale here on my number line. This ends up a little bit backwards when we're thinking about negative numbers because -5 is actually further to the right. Another way to think about it is if you're thinking about money, would you rather owe somebody $5 or would you rather owe somebody $6? When we get into the negatives, if you owe somebody $5, you're a little bit less in the hole, so you technically have more money or that number is further to the right of the number line. So now we figured out the -5 is the bigger number. We know the alligator mouth needs to open towards it. All right, so for -10 and -3, -3 would be further to the right than -10, or I would rather owe someone $3 than owe someone $10. So now we've established that -3 is the bigger number. The alligator mouth should open towards it. And then for negative positive, it's probably a little easier to think all positive numbers are always bigger than any negative number because they're always going to be to the right on the number line. So if we've established 5 is the bigger one, alligator mouth opens towards the 5. And here's what I meant about the less than, greater than. Say if I read this from left to right, this 8 and 3, it says 8 is greater than 3. But if I wanted to read it in the other direction, I could say 3 is less than 8. This is still the greater than symbol, but by thinking about the alligator mouth, I can read it both ways going, the bigger number is the one it opens towards. So another way of looking at that is that 3 is the smaller number.